You said you would love to be Spider-Man.
I'm still up for it, but I've not actually thought twice about it since, to be honest. So
I feel like you're going to think about it again. You're wearing the color.
I am. That was
Accident.
Maybe it's fate.
What? Excuse me? What was that? You want to play the role of who? Spider-Man? Let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. The young lady in that clip is named Bella Ramsey. She's just over 5 feet tall. She's about as intimidating as a flea on an elephant's ass. Last I checked, Spider-Man was supposed to be heroic. Spider-Man was supposed to be feared. And more importantly, there is a key word in his name. Man, because Spider-Man is supposed to be a man. So someone please explain to me how a woman is supposed to play the role of a man. Uncle Casey, Bella Ramsey is uniquely qualified for the role of Spider-Man. You see, Bella is gender non-binary. She can be a he can be a they. All pronouns are applicable depending on the day. Is it any wonder why Hollywood is struggling? Since we have women wanting to play Spider-Man, why don't we go ahead and have a masculine dude like Don Lemon play the role of Wonder Woman? Once again, the Hollywood caboose is being severely bruised by normal people. Here in a couple of months, high-profile director Christopher Nolan will release the Odyssey. Once marketing and production costs are included in the budget, it's estimated that over $500 million will be spent on this turd. Before he was allegedly infected with the woke fungus during production of the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan was a highly respected director. He's directed some of the only profitable films in recent memory: The Dark Knight, Inception, Dunkirk, Interstellar. Obviously, Uncle KC has never seen or even heard of most of these movies, but for the millions of people who have, movies directed by Christopher Nolan, they are box office draws. They're usually very profitable, mainly because they are produced to entertain instead of indoctrinate, which is why I'm struggling to understand the direction Christopher Nolan is taking with the Odyssey. Now, full transparency here. Uncle Casey knows nothing about Greek mythology. Keyword, myth. I don't believe in myths. I'm not entertained by the world of fantasy. I prefer to watch things that are based in reality. Now, even though I'm unfamiliar with Greek mythology, I'm pretty sure this cast is not an accurate representation. The actress in the top left corner, she is playing the role of Helen of Troy. Now, clearly, this casting choice was made by the diversity deputies because Helen of Troy was supposedly a white woman. Achilles, who is supposed to be a hero or maybe a villain, either way, with a name like Achilles, I'm assuming the character is supposed to be intimidating. If you ask an NBA player about their biggest injury fear, the vast majority are going to say an Achilles injury. But Achilles in the Odyssey is the opposite of intimidating. The part was given to a transgender man who is barely 5 feet tall. Travis Scott, who is apparently a rapper. Me personally, I thought Travis Scott was the drummer from Blink-182, or the lead accountant at Scott & Scott. Supposedly, Travis Scott is going to rap in this movie since, you know, the Greeks were well known for their rapping ability back in 1600 BC. Yo, Scott, hand me that scroll. I got some doobies I want to roll. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. The Odyssey is not the only film where Hollywood is wasting hundreds of millions of dollars and creating a lot of backlash with normal people. Next week, the latest iteration of Star Wars will be released. The Mandalorian and Grogu. Dorks from around the country will camp outside of movie theaters. They'll pretend to fight each other with their supersized battery-powered lightsabers as they wait with anticipation for the latest Hollywood disappointment. The leading role in Star Wars, Revenge of the Super Nerd, it was given to Pedro Pascal. Now, to his credit, Pedro Pascal is a brilliant actor, very, very talented. He was the leading role in Narcos, which was one of my favorite series on Netflix. Pedro Pascal, his career has not been affected by his real passion yet, which is being one of the lead deacons at Woke United Methodist. But leading up to the release of Star Wars, Pedro Pascal is being criticized for fighting the good fight and preaching the good word. He's a proud transgender activist. His sister or his brother that used to be his sister, or vice versa. Either way, Pedro Pascal's sibling is transgender. He's also been very vocal with his support of Gaza in the Middle East. Now, whether or not this impacts Star Wars Revenge of the Super Nerds at the box office, I don't know. But it's the reason that Hollywood actors used to stay out of politics. When you are spending $300 million to produce a highly polished turd, the last thing you want to do is alienate your audience. Now, of course, that's not what Park Chan believes or the other members of Club Doofus in Hollywood. KC, who in the hell is Park Chan? He is a South Korean director and the jury president at the Cannes Film Festival. Yesterday, he was speaking with the media, and he explained why the woke fungus should not be eradicated from Hollywood. Watch it for yourself.
I don't think politics and arts should be divided. I think it's a strange concept to think that they're in conflict with each other. Just because a work of art has a political statement, it should not be considered an enemy of art. At the same time, just because a film is not making a political statement, that film should not be ignored. Even if we are to make a brilliant political statement, if it's not expressed artfully enough, it would just be propaganda. So what I want to say is that art and politics are not concepts that are in conflict with each other. As long as they're artistically expressed, they are valuable.
Why would I leave my house? Why would I fight traffic, pay for tickets, pay for overpriced popcorn? Why would I deal with the dude behind me who hasn't bathed in weeks and keeps wiping his boogers all over the back of my chair? Why would I deal with all that just to see a movie that indoctrinates me instead of entertaining me? 6 years ago, ESPN made the same mistake that Hollywood's been making. They took a network that was built on a foundation of covering sports, and they transitioned into the worldwide leader in woke. Instead of real NFL analysts, ESPN tried to convince us that pretend analyst Mina Kimes was qualified to analyze a league that she's never played in. They promoted women to analyst positions. They turned Around the Horn into Around the Woke Wiener. Instead of covering sports, ESPN was dedicated to creating fake racism. As a result, their ratings were in the pooper, revenue drastically declined, and if it wasn't for Pat McAfee showing ESPN executives who lived through the daily trauma of their white guilt, if it wasn't for Pat McAfee showing them that dudes talking about sports could draw an audience on a sports network, ESPN would still be spanking the wanker. The problem for Hollywood, there doesn't seem to be a savior on the horizon. Everyone not named Spencer Pratt seems to be fully infected with the woke fungus. Yesterday, some unknown director at the Cannes Film Festival was asked how he felt about being selected as a member of the jury. Now, I have no idea what the hell that means. I guess members of the jury watch movies and they deliver a verdict. With Hollywood being the land of equity and inclusion, I'm sure everyone leaves the festival with a trophy. Everyone leaves a winner. My inside sources, they are telling me that the trophy they are giving away this year is a platinum-plated turd. This dude, he's asked how he feels about being selected as a member of the jury. Now, most normal people, they would respond by saying, "This really sucks. I don't want to watch all of this unentertaining garbage. To make matters worse, I've got to actually pay attention because they are paying me to review it. I would much rather be on the pitch playing croquet." All kidding aside, most people would say it's an honor, it's a privilege. They would lie and pretend like they're happy to be there. But this dude, he pretends to be overly emotional. He claims that it was an emotional battle for him to be there. Watch it for yourself.
Especially in these times now, the really dark times, we see so much kind of violence and systematic violence, genocide in Gaza and all these terrible disputes. So the idea of coming to a festival, which is a celebration, of diversity, imagination, tenderness, when there's such vulgar, vicious, systematic violence, everything's two-dimensional, and the idea of attending a festival, where there'll be contradiction and nuance and beauty and inspiration, it knocked me out, to be honest.
It's so hard to be here. All the systemic violence, the oppression, my white privilege combined with my overwhelming white guilt, the destruction in Gaza. It's too much for me to bear. I'm so worried about the children. Oh, the children. It's all about the children. Who in the hell talks like this? This would be the equivalent of you being invited to a concert and you tell your friends you can't go because you're mourning the war in Iran. This once profitable industry, this once influential industry. When I was growing up, Hollywood had the power to influence American culture. Today, they could not be more irrelevant because the vast majority of people in Hollywood are out of touch with normal people. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.